stage. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, at the back?
Yeah.
I'm Jilliana Ranicar-Breese, and I'm based in Brighton. And I've been writing for about 20 years. Read what I call Jilliana's vignettes. And this is one of the vignettes. I better tell you vaguely the background. I spent time in Greece and Turkey, and I met in Istanbul a record producer, quite a well-known one in Istanbul, and he decided to move for a better life for his child to Bath. Apparently he's here on a special visa. Anyway, I had a long-standing invitation to stay with him and his wife in Bath, and that was last year. And this is the consequence. It didn't work out very well, I can tell you. I'm quite anti-smoking, and this is entitled Smoking Oneself to Death. And it's not funny. I was recently invited to stay with a cultured family from Istanbul, living in the royal spa city of Bath, Middle England, in a respectable part of the city. I was made most welcome. However, I was mortified by their smoking addiction. The house rule was no smoking indoors because they had an adorable 11-year-old daughter. So in turn, or together, they would sit outside in the raised patio and smoke Marlboros day in, day out in all weathers. It mattered not if it was freezing, raining, blowing a gale, or snowing. They sat and smoked. He smoked at least 30 a day and she about 20. Yes, she tried to give up even reading Alan Carr's famous book, but to no avail. Their top-fitted kitchen cupboard was full of cartons of Marlboros, no doubt bought in Istanbul, where they were cheaper to buy than in Bath. I told her the story of the handsome Spanish doctor I had met in Segovia, in the street where I hung onto a public bin thinking I might vomit into it. He came up to me with his wife, who was constantly coughing and clearing her throat. Her voice was hoarse, and her dyed black hair framed a forlorn white face, so she looked even worse. The doctor invited me for a chamomile infusion to settle my tummy. While she excused herself to go to the loo, I was compelled to say something about her rasping voice. He then confessed she was a doctor, and at times it hurt her to swallow and speak. I am sure, like my late husband, who died within 1 year of aggressive leukemia, she is dead from cancer of the throat. My magical husband, Martin, could not give up smoking and blamed me because when we had met in 1980, he asked me to buy him duty-free Havanas from the Paris airport. How could I know that he'd given up smoking? Then he asked me for a 200 carton of Gitane or Gauloise cigarettes. I obliged him, but by then he was addicted. He just could not give up despite meeting the enigmatic American-Greek psychiatrist, Dr. Chris Kiat, I can't pronounce it anyway, on a ferry boat, who urged him to give up smoking. Martin flamboyantly threw his full Gitane packet into the sparkling blue Aegean Sea, promising to give up forever. Promises, promises. When we were invited to Uri Geller's Swish House for lunch, Uri, being a health guru, commented on Martin's husky, rasping voice, recognizing him immediately to be a heavy smoker. There again, Martin promised to give up and even went to a hypnotherapist, but it was still no good. He was hooked, despite trying patches and talking to his doctor. He switched and for a few years smoked a vintage pipe. I bought him an antique pipe rack and a humidor from Havana for his cohibas. The day he was told his fate, although leukemia was unconnected with his addictive habit, he gave up cold turkey, mind over matter. Throughout our 25 years together, the rule was no smoking in the bedroom, as the smell clung to the furnishings, and no cigarette butts left in the ashtray overnight, either in the living room or kitchen, because the pervading stale smell was horrific the following day. Needless to say, when my old friend, now my ex-friend of 40 years, the Romanian poet emigre Vera Lungu, invited herself to visit me in Istanbul about 3 years ago, she was the guest from hell, chain-smoking throughout her 10-day stay. She would sit every morning puffing away on the balcony overlooking the Golden Horn. Vera did not believe in spending money, moaning and groaning throughout her stay, even though the hotel cost her nothing, as I had invited her, after she announced she would be coming, having read Orhan Pamuk's book on Istanbul. What a dragon! She shouted at me when I complained that I could smell, or that I could taste the smell of her gitan in my bedroom as she walked through, already lit in the bathroom, before sitting out on the balcony. She never spent any money, but on her last day came back with several cartons of Turkish strong cigarettes, because they would have cost her double in Paris, where she lived. I was relieved when I finally heard the click of the bedroom door and she was gone out of my life forever. Not even a merci. No doubt by now she will have smoked herself to death. Alice Sutton, the former Countess of Belroche, forever smoking a Gauloise, had a permanent mégout stuck to her lower red lip when she played classical guitar, so she could keep her hands free to play. So very Parisian with her red or black beret. I think of her fondly in Brighton, London or Paris. She too has passed away, the daughter of the painter Count Albert de Belroche, who was an intimate close friend of Lautrec. Odd for a non-smoker, but I was involved visually throughout the 80s with old Turkish and Greek Ottoman cigarette tins. I would buy them mainly in Belgium, selling them in Athens to Manos Haritatos, who founded the Alia archive in Plaka, Athens. He would also create facsimiles of cigarette posters and published a magnificent coffee table book, lavishly illustrated on the art of the cigarette, plus an enormous corporate calendar with 12 visuals taken from the book. The other outlet was Germany and Switzerland. I was friendly with my Zurich-based Romanian client Ivan Baranovsky, who had a vast oriental cigarette tin collection. As a graphics designer and photographer, he saw the value in these unique pieces of art, and when the digital age came in, photographed all his tins before selling his refined, excellent collection onto a German collector. Almost everyone has died. Manos, Martin, Alice, and who knows or cares about Vera in Paris. My main concern is for the Turkish couple who just can't or won't, even for the sake of their delightful little daughter, give up. That's it.
Hey.
Would anyone like a poem? Shall I continue? Do I have time?
You don't really have time, that's
Okay.
all right.
Okay, another time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So again for Jilliana! Yay! And we will we'll have a very quick break now.